Love is in the air, everywhere I look around. Love is in the air, every sight and every sound.
Praying or upskirting? Hard to tell. It's a weird way to mark Valentine's Day, but not as weird as this.
My grandchildren and I painted some cards, Valentine cards, at the weekend, which we are going to be presenting to the men in the camp at Crowborough as a welcome.
What? You told literal children to write Valentine's Day cards? A cultural observance primarily devoted to expressing romantic love, and plan to give them to 20-something illegal migrant men as a welcome from the children. In the immediate aftermath of numerous cases of these very type of men preying on children, men from countries where adult-child relationships of this nature are permitted, in a town where schoolgirls are already being followed around by these men. Yeah, I'm sure the parents who protested against these migrant men being dumped on their town are gonna love that. When Jim Ratcliffe dared to state what the majority of the British public are thinking, they all lost their tiny minds.
You can't afford, you can't have an economy with 9 million people on benefits and huge levels of immigrants coming in. I mean, the UK is being colonised. It's costing too much money. It will cause... It'll cause... Well, yeah. The UK is being colonised by immigrants, really, isn't it?
Cue an absolutely hysterical astroturf moral panic, culminating in the Prime Minister himself demanding Ratcliffe apologise.
And the kind of language of being colonised by immigrants, you're talking about people who've come here to live, to work, to have families, as though they're a hostile, occupying force, taking away your language, your culture, your ability to survive.
Yes, it's incredibly racist to suggest that mass migration is a negative force that's demographically colonising the native population of England. We must just be imagining the ONS data, which shows that some areas of the country are down to just 5% native. We just must be imagining the fact that our capital city went from being 97% white to 36% white in the space of 6 decades. Oh, no one's being colonised.
And the kind of language of being colonised by immigrants, as though they're a hostile, occupying force.
But let's just say it's a positive thing, and then suddenly it's not racist, it's something to be celebrated.
In London, the white British population has decreased by 600,000, while the minority population has increased by 1.2 million. So, yes lads, we're winning.
Will the real Ash Sarkar please stand up? Ratcliffe gets cancelled for using the word colonised. Yet they slap up posters on the London Underground celebrating how mass migration is achieving reverse colonisation. It's okay when they do it. You say colonisation, that's racist and it's not happening.
I mean, the population of the UK was 58 million in 2020. Now it's 70 million. That's 12 million people.
They say reverse colonisation. It's happening and it's a good thing.
Yes lads, we're winning.
I think Jim Ratcliffe is a stinking hypocrite.
Takes one to know one.
He became a tax resident of Monaco. That's £4 billion that could have gone towards British schools. The British NHS could have gone towards British defence. Instead, he decided he wanted that money for his own pockets.
Yeah, the guy who up until 2020 was paying 100 million in tax every year. Then, in line with his values, decided to stop funding the colonisation of his own country. Yeah, he's the hypocrite, not the woman who claims it isn't happening while simultaneously celebrating it.
We're winning.
And shilling Londonistan merch.
You can't afford, you can't have an economy with 9 million people on benefits and huge levels of immigrants coming in.
Net fiscal contributions by ethnic groups completely validate his point.
If it wasn't for immigration, I think that Man United would have had about 3 of their starting 11 last night.
Without immigrants, Man U's starting lineup last night would have been 3 players and the bench would have consisted of just 2. Yeah, Abdul, fresh off the boat from Afghanistan, straight into a free hotel with free healthcare, free iPhone and prepaid government debit card, makes the same contribution as a highly skilled multi-millionaire Man United football player. They're now literally trying to defend mass migration by comparing it to importing a relatively tiny number of elite sportsmen on work visas.
What we would do without immigration from a footballing perspective. And all of the fans who talk about immigration, they love their foreign players.
This is even weaker than the diverse food argument.
He wants to talk about people who want to just come here and live and work and pay taxes, costing us too much. Like, the man is a fucking devil.
Oh yes, just take a moment to observe all the hard-working, tax-paying contributors matters to society. Destined, I'm sure, to go on to become top-end Premier League footballers. Your bone marrow stops producing stem cells after 40. That's not an opinion, that's biology. Your bone marrow is where your body makes repair cells. These are the cells that rebuild muscles, repair blood vessels, and help your body recover when something breaks down. Here's the scary part. By age 50, production drops by up to 75%. You literally stop healing yourself. That's why cuts heal slower. That's why recovery feels impossible. That's why aging suddenly hits all at once. But cocoa flavanols change that signal. This powder wakes your stem cells up like an alarm clock. And before you roll your eyes, this isn't some woo-woo nonsense. Harvard scientist Dr. William Lee backs it up.
If you actually give people who have coronary artery disease, so they've got narrowing of their blood vessels and stiff, hard blood vessels, if you measure their stem cells and then see how many stem cells are floating around their blood, which is not many, then researchers have given them 2 cups of dark chocolate in the form of hot chocolate. That's it, 2 cups to have a day for 30 days. And at the end of 30 days, you take out your blood and measure the stem cells again, and then do that flow-mediated dilation resiliency test again of the blood vessels to see, have they changed? This is what's amazing has been found. That dark chocolate, the proanthocyanidins, not only got into the bloodstream, but they doubled the number of stem cells circulating in your blood vessels, and they doubled the resiliency of your blood vessels just over the course of a month with as little as 2 cups of hot chocolate that's dark.
That's right, dark chocolate. But here's where people get it wrong. The flavanols, the part that actually does anything, get destroyed when the chocolate is processed. Regular chocolate has 50 milligrams of dead flavanols. This Black Forest high flavanol cocoa powder has 1,200 milligrams of pharmaceutical extracted flavanols. It activates your stem cells to come out of your bone marrow like bees coming out of a beehive. Then they turn into anything that needs fixing. Muscles, blood vessels, even brain tissue. That's why even the military studied this for battlefield recovery. The soldiers were healing twice as fast. Joe Rogan talks about stem cells constantly and even flies to Colombia for those injections. But this activates the same stem cells. No travels, no needles, and without the $50,000 tab. If you're getting older but feel like you're real old, like 70 years old, your bone marrow needs a wake-up call. That's why Black Forest just opened a 48-hour President's Day access window. Right now, everything in the store is buy one, get one free, but for 48 hours only. So don't wait, go to their site now. It's in the pinned comment and description down below. The sheer vehemence with which the regime rushed to vilify Ratcliffe, like him using a word was akin to a natural disaster,
Colonized,
was clearly intended as a threat to other prominent people not to speak out.
But the comments that he made yesterday were unacceptable. Our country benefits hugely from its diversity. So I would urge him to apologise for his offensive remarks.
As well as a pretty big tell that their diversity is our greatest strength, containment measure is wearing increasingly thin.
Because the population in 2000 was 58 million. The population in the UK is 70 million in 2025, which means we've had a 21% increase, 20 to 21% increase in our population. The population of Europe has gone from 728 million to 744 million, which means Europe as a continent has had a 2% increase in population. You then distill down the German population increase, the Italian, the Spanish, the French. No one has had a population explosion like we have. So to go to the sentiment about the population, irrespective of whether he said 2020 or 2000, he is right. The population explosion, however it's manifested itself, has created a strain on this country. Politicians are weaponizing this content and using it for their own end, right? But the reality is the premise of what he's saying is fundamentally correct. We have a welfare state which has 9 million people on it, which cannot continue. We have an immigration policy which is not working. And we have a societal change and shift at pace and demographics, which is changing the face of this country, and people don't like it. And the politicians are too cowardly to do anything about it. And Keir Starmer and the other politicians like Ed Davey are just weaponising this content because it deflects from their inadequacies in ineptitude.
Leftists are still gaslighting everyone by claiming that the arrival of 6 million foreign nationals to the UK since 2020 alone though, is something that indigenous Brits welcomed.
This idea from the far right that actually what is going on is either an invasion or a colonisation removes that agency. It removes that power. It suggests that immigration is something that is being done unto us, to us, rather than something that we are elected to do.
Yeah, who did we elect to impose mass migration on us? Every time we're asked, we vote against it, yet they keep imposing it on us anyway.
It suggests that a foreign power is taking and control and settling in Britain and dominating, displacing or exploiting the indigenous population and imposing their culture and language on us.
Yeah, no one's imposing their language on us, are they, Lewis?
You look at parts of London, for example, where the road names, the underground signs, aren't just in English, they're in a foreign language as well. 1 million people living in this country don't speak any English at all. 4 million people living in this country barely speak passable English. And that's the point that he was making, that big areas of our towns and cities have been changed into something completely different to what they were.
We've had more immigration to this country in the last 25 years than in the last 2,000 years combined.
If a group of people move to a country en masse and say, for the purposes of this discussion, it is to be understood that we wish to operate as a large collective in this country with rules that don't sit well with the existing legal status quo. But you know what? You can't do anything about it because this is our law. What you are dealing with de facto is colonisation.
Yes. The government take, so they must act. So they must act. And if it be the case that the prospective pattern of the population of this country is such that this country would not be a place worth living in, or a city capable of being governed for all who live in it, then it is the duty of those in authority, I'm going to complete this sentence, or that it is the duty of those in authority to take measures accordingly. And those measures, since they are in the interest of all, are measures which ought to claim the support of all, and for which the support of all ought to be sought, and I believe would be forthcoming.
Meanwhile, on the continent, things are also feeling a bit colonizing.
Ora andremo con Maya un po' in giro per la stazione e vedremo se ci sono ancora quelle persone che danno fastidio e che importunano le ragazze.
You don't need a crystal ball to see where this one's going.
No, grazie.
Excuse me.
Che bella! Bella, bella. Ok, chiacchiera. Ho chiude. Non so come Sì, sicuro io! Sì, sicuro io! Come si fa? Anche tu bello, va? Tutti i t-shirts.
qualcosa?
No, no.
Vuoi qualcosa?
No, no, grazie.
Gas,
No, no.
Crack,
No.
cocaina.
No.
Niente.
Basta, niente.
Basta.
Now, to be fair, there probably were some natives in there, maybe one or two, but otherwise it's definitely not helping the stereotype.
Allora Maya, com'è andata questa passeggiata? Come ti sei sentita?
Colonized. If you value what I do and you want to help support me, please visit pauljosephwatson.locals.com and either pledge a one-time donation or subscribe to join my community, get early access videos and message me directly. And exclusive live streams coming soon too. Promise. Check out the Locals link down in the description. And don't forget to take a look at the brand new website modernity.news. That's where you'll find all my content, including exclusive articles. That's modernity.news.